Look at this gorgeous ceramic vase. It looks like something you might be lucky to find on a dusty shelf in the back of an antique shop during a visit to Korea. Just the thing to put some peppermints in. Maybe it would even work as a fancy cookie jar. Well, maybe you should reconsider, that last part at least. This beautifully crafted ceramic container is actually a chamber pot. You heard me, a chamber pot. A container for human waste. We don't use them much these days, but before indoor plumbing became ubiquitous, chamber pots were everyday items until well into the last century. This particular vase is quite a lovely one indeed. It's currently in the collection of the British Museum. Made several centuries ago, covered in elegant abstract patterns, it's an exquisite example of Korean porcelain craft. But it might surprise you to know that some people find collections like this a bit controversial. To them, prestigious museums should contain only equally prestigious items. Elegant paintings and sculptures of the sort they think fit to decorate the palace of an aristocrat, not pots for poo. But is that all this pot is? Chamber pots like it have been in use for thousands of years, in both the East and the West. Such containers may be as old as civilization itself, and while they no doubt started out as plain and utilitarian objects, it didn't take long for potters to begin experimenting endlessly with shapes and decorations. For instance, take this delightful chamber pot, made in China during the Jin dynasty. It is both sturdy and functional, while also injecting a bit of fun into the most ordinary of human functions. Due to its playful appearance, pots of this style were referred to as tiger jars. They were also known as horse riding jars, as the posture of someone sitting on the chamber pot resembled that of riding a horse. Chamber pots from other places and eras exhibit elegant decorations like floral motifs or pastoral scenes that we might expect on dainty teacups or soup bowls. In Korea, during the Joseon dynasty, various types of chamber pots emerged. They were made of many kinds of materials, including pottery, earthenware, stoneware, oak wood, and leather coated with lacquer or oil. A portable chamber pot was often part of a bride's dowry, alongside other essential items. The decoration on this chamber pot can tell us a lot about it, too. The interlocking pattern we see running across the surface is more than simple geometry. They may, in fact, remind you of the patterns on a turtle shell. In traditional Korean culture, the turtle is a symbol of good luck and long life. But there's more. In Korea, chamber pots were generally made using low-quality clay. Woven nets were usually tied around the chamber pots to prevent what could be some rather unpleasant cracks and leaks. So, in addition to wishing the user good fortune and health, the design makes a playful reference to these commonly used woven nets. This careful pattern also tells us that this chamber pot likely originated from Hwanghae Province, Korea. Ceramics and pottery from this region are distinguished by the predominant use of grayish-blue hues, as well as the use of various aquatic creatures such as fish and turtles as motifs. And the fact that this chamber pot was decorated at all indicates that this was certainly made for someone in Joseon Korea's upper classes. And because it is relatively small, this was probably a traveling chamber pot, the kind that women in a royal family or officials would take with them on their travels. All of these pots, from the humblest to the most elaborate, have important stories to tell about humanity's collective experience. However, in the art world, cultural hierarchies determine which art is prestigious enough for public viewing. Some would argue that poo pots are too mundane or distasteful to make the grade. But the kind of censorship which would hide distasteful or taboo objects like chamber pots away would lead to an incomplete picture of our artistic and cultural history. It would undermine the educational mission of the museum and rob us of an opportunity to appreciate art in its sometimes uncomfortable entirety. Speaking of uncomfortable, this is Marcel Duchamp's Fountain. This hit the art world like a bolt of lightning in 1917. Some critics and observers said that it couldn't be art. Others said it had to be. The argument continues to this day. In 2016, the Italian visual artist Maurizio Cattelan installed a working toilet made entirely out of 18-karat gold in the Guggenheim Museum. He titled it America. By now, you might be able to guess that some people weren't especially happy about this piece either. After all, we're really just looking at a fancy chamber pot. Cattelan is boldly confronting issues of class, consumerism, and cultural values in America. He is using his Chamberpot as a powerful lever to dig at the roots of established cultural hierarchies. Could he have made the same impact with some paint and a canvas? Exhibiting chamber pots, toilets, or urinals in a museum setting challenges viewers to confront their biases and critically reflect on the materiality and symbolism of everyday objects. The viewer is encouraged to reevaluate their preconceived notions, to question societal norms, and engage in conversations surrounding artistic expression. This effect can be a really powerful tool in an artist's repertoire if they want to shake up the way we think and challenge authority. More than that, what these unlikely works of art show us is that there is literally nothing that can't be a canvas for human creativity. And that's beautiful, even though you might not want to touch it without gloves on.